Good morning, everyone. Nice to have you here this morning. And welcome to our Mind the Moment's Tuesday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. I apologize for my voice. I'm a little hoarse. When I've heard that when your voice starts doing that, it means you're getting over your cold. So I'm all for that. So it's brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. We have them to thank for these lovely sessions. So this is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these daily practices into our daily lives. And I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino. I am so happy to be here with Mary Starr Green, my old friend, and that we don't see each other enough. So I'm so happy to see her, and I'm sure you are as well. So she's a mindfulness instructor with Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. Nice to see you this morning, Mary, and happy.
Oh, great to be here, Suzanne, and great to be here with everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's say longtime friend. Let's not say old friend.
Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. I love that. Yeah, that works much better. So with that, today we'll start off with a question for the group. Mary has one of those ready for us, and she'll share a few thoughts with us and we'll go right into guided practice. And as those of you that have joined before know, our guided practice will be at least 12 minutes, which is the sweet spot that Dr. Mishi Jha has mentioned, is really kind of the place, the time frame that really creates real change in your lifestyle and just the way your body reacts to meditation. So after that, we'll have time for questions. So if you can go to the bottom of your screen, open up the chat, and then once you open the chat, you'll see the blue drop-down menu that says hosts and panelists. Please just click the blue drop-down menu that says everyone. And everyone will be able to see your comments as you type them. So, Mary, you have a question for us. What would you like to ask the group this morning?
Sure. Well, my question is about, you could call it space or quiet or stillness, but the question is, where are you finding, or what does stillness look like for you these days? You know, and where and how do you find stillness? You might substitute the word quiet or space, but that's the general. Yeah.
And it's interesting because when Mary, I'll let folks type in, but when Mary sent this potential question to me or theme, and I was like, what perfect timing. Because we're in that post-Thanksgiving, getting to the beginning of December. So I have to say, for me, what stillness means to me is laying on the couch with my dog and meditating or reading a book. That's for me. How about you, Mary?
That's really good. It depends on the circumstances. I'm finding at this time of year, when I can create that kind of thing with sitting on the sofa or being with a pet and just, savoring that's great. But lately I've just been noticing the pauses in my body and in my breath. So like on the spot, those constant reminders of, oh, I'm not doing, I'm quiet, In the big sense, it's being able to enjoy pastimes and being quiet. So I'm giving you a couple different things. If I've got a lot of time, it looks like one thing. If I have not a lot of time, it looks a little different.
Yeah.
A lot of good things.
I get that. It does depend on the circumstances. So thank you for that. That's it's good that you can do that every once in a while. It's hard to do these days. So slowing down, creating space, hikes in nature, not responding to texts that could be triggering or upsetting. Sheila, feel your power. I love it. Nature, sunrise walks on the beach. Oh boy. Janice, I love where you live or where you're visiting. I recently started a short evening yoga practice to sleep better. I love that. I love that. Very small moments when I remember to breathe. and quiet and cultivate an hour before getting into bed for sleep. Reconnecting with myself, journaling, reading. Yeah, this practice. Yeah, thank you for that, everyone. Okay, Janice is in South Florida. Got it.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What I love about these is, as they're coming in, is, acknowledging that there's some things that we can do to shift our circumstances, the intentional, like yoga practice, or choosing when we're going to answer our phones or not. Just the simplicity of, just noting being in nature, yeah.
And, I love
Breathing.
Kristen's mentioned being home with Christmas lights on after it gets dark and nobody's home. I feel like there's that, when all the planets align and that happens, like nobody's home. That's nice. Yeah. And one other thing I noticed just as people were typing in is sometimes I notice my breath is shallow. Do you ever notice that, when you're really busy, your breath is shallow? And if I notice that, I can say, maybe I need to take a deep breath.
Sure. Exactly. Right. And sometimes we need to stop and even just to be noticed that our breath is shallow is something, Suzanne, even to just have that awareness.
Yeah. What a great question though, Mary.
Yeah. So if they're still coming in, I'm
decorating for the holidays. So now
wonderful.
It is sitting in my favorite room with all the lights, my books, a warm beverage, a blanket. Hygge time. How do you say that? Hygge or Hygge? I love that.
I don't know, but that just sounds like the perfect combo.
Wonderful. Yeah, that word means our happy place. Love it.
So
thank you.
How about we do a little practice that, just acknowledges the power of stillness and making a little space for our practice. And this will be about 12 minutes long, right? So you can be seated if you prefer to stand or be in some other position. You're welcome to do that. And we'll just begin maybe just by taking that deeper breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. If it helps you to just connect to a present moment by intentionally deepening the breath, and you might do that. And then as you're just beginning here, just sensing the support that is under you. If you're sitting in a chair, feel the connection points of the chair to the chair or the floor. I'm just inviting, if you're sitting up, to lengthen up through the spine and also to soften down through the shoulders. So there's some intention to our position. And as we create this moment of noticing our posture, the shape that we're in, we just drop into the body a little bit more, noticing what is so. You might notice places of tightness or of ease. I find more and more it's helpful to just kind of note the places that feel okay. Dropping awareness to places in the body that may feel at ease. As you continue to settle into the body, to places of ease, places that feel okay, begin to open your awareness to the breath. And I'll add that as we're intentionally kind of dropping into this, you may also be noticing sounds and the external circumstances of life. You can acknowledge that, but at the same time, body supported and the breath comes and goes. And so where mindfulness doesn't ask us to do anything about the breath, you may just notice with a little bit more awareness there. As Suzanne spoke to, you might notice places that feel a little tight or tense. And there might be places that feel receptive and open in your body as you breathe in and out. So in this way, not trying to create something that's not there, not trying to push away anything in your experience that doesn't meet your definition of stillness. In this way, we can use just the natural breath as our anchor. If you're familiar, and this was more of an intentional practice, if you're familiar with breath practices, that might include deepening the in-breath, lengthening the out-breath. And even if this is new to you, you might just play with that in a gentle way, not creating strain. What would it be like, or just imagine a full breath in, like fresh air, and how the exhale can just lengthen and slow down. You might even say this is like riding the wave of your breath. And as you continue to ride this wave of breath and whatever other things happen to come along, you may notice, or see if you do notice, little places where the breath is still, or where the body is still, where there's no sensation. We take an in-breath, maybe there's a little pause at the top. We take an out-breath, and you may be where there's just that little pause. So again, we don't have to create any strain around that, but just noticing. And here, especially at the end of the exhale, that might be a place to just drop your attention. Is there any stillness, any quiet? Is there any moment where the body sensations are not calling out so loudly? And so we'll continue in this way in relative silence. in these final minutes of our practice. Being in the body, in the breath, noticing moments of stillness, which perhaps is sprinkled amply with moments of activity, of noticing, distraction, of thinking. And we can always come back. And simply this intention to be here, to witness the present moment, to pay attention in this kind, gentle way. Not creating more layers of tension, but just easy, noticing moments of stillness, of quiet. The bells and acknowledging this time you need for practice. If your eyes were closed, you can just open them up, gaze around your space, reconnect to our little online community.
Thank you so much, Mary. I
Yeah.
feel like you added some extra stillness in there for us. And I guess stillness from the standpoint of when you said it can include the quiet. And that was really lovely.
Thank you. Well, it's always a great reminder for me as I practice with others to, to acknowledge just the fullness. And we can sometimes catch little moments of stillness, but oftentimes it's amidst that haystack of all the other things that are going on, either around, I'll just say either around me externally or just within. And to just kind of rest in that. Yeah,
you're right. It can be external or internal things that are going on. So Sarah, thank you for sharing. Sarah's shared a book called Sharing Silence, Meditation Practice and Mindful Living. And I'm not familiar with Gunilla, is it Gunilla or Gunilla Norris? But that's, it's a lovely thing that I'm going to just put into my document here.
Yeah, I'm making note of it as well. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
And one other thing to add to what Mary has talked about today, I think those that have meditated just for a little while, maybe for a long time, or even are new to meditation, there can be this perspective that those of us that have meditated for a longer time than you, or teachers or anyone, have this complete Zen, 12 minutes of total quiet in our minds. And that is never the case. That's not the human brain. So one of my teachers, when I did my study at UCLA, my mindfulness study at UCLA, Dr. Marvin Belzer says this quote that I just can never forget. He says, "One quiet moment is not a small thing." Mm-hmm. So if you have at the end of the practice, and here Brittany mentioned, I connected with my breath in a way I haven't in a while. So if you have that one moment where you have a peaceful moment, and let's say the 11 or 11 and a half moments are busy mind, you know what? Probably a good portion of the meditation community has the same thing that you're going through. So it's not unusual. Just wanted to
Absolutely.
take the
Absolutely.
pressure off.
And it's also a practice, deepening our mindfulness to be aware of just that little moment and savor it, right? And to see it for what it is instead of judging all the other things around it. Yeah, good reminder, great quote.
Yeah. And I also think of the teacher, Tuweri Salah, who a number of people on this session know. She's a teacher in Seattle Mindfulness. She's just so wise. And she said that as well on a 10% Happier interview that she had with Dan Harris, that, that her mind is constantly pinging back and forth. Not constantly, but regularly. That's just how it works. So the fact that we wake up to that and notice it is a moment of mindfulness. So don't expect that you're going to have a quiet mind for, a majority of the time, depending on what's going on.
Right.
So thank you so much, Mary. This is such an important subject right now. So.
It is all the time, but I think especially right now, at least that's how I feel. So thank you. Thank you. Great opportunity. And thank you everybody for your wonderful practice today.
Yeah. And thank you for all your comments. It's just great to, obviously people really resonated with it. So we are grateful to have you here, Mary. Hope to see you sooner than this. Seems like a lot of time went by, but anyway, we're happy to have you, and we will see you soon. And we will be here tomorrow, Wednesday, as well as Thursday this week. So looking forward to seeing you. Everyone have a good day. We'll see you soon. Yes, thank you, Julia. All right, I will do. Take care. Bye-bye.